It's not even that. Why don't you worry about your son and the people that speak your son? Like, what? Like, you keep saying.
So allegedly, Chrisean Jr.'s medical records been leaked. I don't know how true it is, but it's saying that he got all type of stuff and how she was being neglectful.
So apparently somebody that leaked Chrisean Rock and Jr.'s medical records from when he was born, listing the list of issues that he had. One of the issues being alcohol fetal syndrome, another one dealing with his ophthalmology, dealing with his sight, something else dealing with pulmonary, dealing with his lungs.
Shouldn't even have to apologize to you because we all was drinking, even you, with the baby and stuff. Why are you lying? There you go.
Did pull up to your show, Jay.
There you go.
Gave me the bottle.
There you go.
Okay, you gave me the Hennessy bottle.
There you go. There you go. You
so I'm just not about to act like
you putting us in. You put a narrative out there.
What narrative?
You trying to say I drunk? Nigga, I never drank the bottle because I never was.
Who was drinking?
I never drank the bottle. You know I didn't drink the bottle.
So okay. You just keep watching.
The baby's blessed. His name is Chrisean.
Welcome back to Juicy Plug, where scandals are hot, daily, and nasty. And the kettle is always boiling. Chrisean Rock just slid into yet another disaster, so fasten your seatbelt. And surprisingly, baby drama is back. But wait, this isn't tea that has been recycled. It makes a deep cut this time. We're discussing something honest, unvarnished, and somewhat heartbreaking. This is what's bubbling, then. There are a ton of people on Twitter and TikTok claiming that Chrisean's baby Jr. has medical leakage. We're not showing receipts on the screen, so don't freak out. That's how classy we are, legal, courteous, and still providing chaos. Let's just say, however, that the chronology is in complete meltdown mode because to what is circulating.
It's okay. Chrisean leaked her own medical records. You don't have to go try to figure out who leaked them or anything. She did. It's something mental really going on with the young lady and she really needs help, okay? Those medical records basically show what Chrisean Jr. had and also the therapies he was going to need, okay? Now, it's so sad because it was a lot of stuff on the medical records that Chrisean Jr. supposedly had. And on top of that, it kind of named a couple that Chrisean actually had her system at the time that she was pregnant. Plus, in all reality, the medical records was basically showing what everybody was assuming about Chrisean Jr. anyway. So why she keep on getting on the internet and calling herself bullying and trying to get into it with this and the third and Tia Kim because people genuinely try to tell her to get her son off the internet and get him the help that he needs.
The baby's medical chart appears to be filled with warning signs according to the purported screenshots. Although it hasn't been confirmed officially yet, this is the kind of mess that quickly ignites Twitter feuds and feeds rumors, word of mouth on the internet. According to some of those purported letters, Chrisean hasn't been showing up for work at the pediatrician's office on time. Naturally, the internet is going completely crazy, with fingers pointing, eyeballs flying, and conspiracy theories growing like bugs. Let us not pretend to be new, though. Ever since she made her pregnancy public, Chrisean has been scrutinized by the internet. Everything has become headline bait, including who is in her inner circle, where she's traveling to, and how she holds the baby. And people are jumping to conclusions now that these leaks are circulating, as if there were a prize at the end.
So apparently somebody that leaked Chrisean Rock and Jr.'s medical records from when he was born, listing the list of issues that he had. One of the issues being alcohol fetal syndrome, another one dealing with his ophthalmology, dealing with his sight, something else dealing with pulmonary, dealing with his lungs.
It's saying that he got all type of stuff and how she was being neglectful.
Rock. So there's been some medical documents that have been released that people are saying are the medical documents of Junior, Chrisean's son. I'm going to tell you where to go to watch this on YT.
Few people are actually asking the bombshell question, even though the entire internet is playing courtroom. In the first place, who the devil released these supposedly secret documents, if this is all even remotely real? We are discussing complete privacy, invasion, no sugarcoating. This wasn't discovered by chance. They dug deeply. And just that one fact alone, gosh, it shows that there is some serious chaos going on behind closed doors.
Okay, who's out here breaking HIPAA laws? Apparently, there's some medical records of Chrisean and her baby floating around, and I don't know if it's true. This is all alleged, but I'm just gonna share what I learned. Maybe, allegedly. So it says that the baby suffers from fetal alcohol syndrome and neonatal abstinence syndrome. So neonatal abstinence syndrome is basically the baby is withdrawing from opioids, some sort of drugs, but they're thinking either opioids or cocaine in this case. And allegedly, but he also allegedly suffers from spasticity, which is like a neurological disorder that makes it hard for people or babies to move their limbs. He also suffers from seizure disorder and CVI. Now, CVI is cortical visual impairment, which is just, it means that a part of his brain has been damaged, the part of his brain that controls his vision. So, he has blindness. Like a lot of people, I've heard people say this, but I just didn't believe it, but oh my God. It also says that he should be in palliative care. Now, I work in hospice, and a lot of people, they believe that palliative care and hospice is interchangeable, but it's not. The palliative care kind of focuses more on prolonging the life of the child or person in general. But in this case, if he should be on palliative care, he's got a very serious medical condition, and he ain't gonna, she needs to be taking care of him. How? As a mother, do you know these diagnoses, or do you know any of this information about your son and not help him in any way? Continue to live the same lifestyle that you lived before you had him.
Let's keep this simple. The following section is completely crazy. Now, I'm not claiming that these released data are entirely true, but I'm also not dismissing them either. I'm merely outlining the things that are trending on the internet like wildfire and baby. The way this narrative is developing is causing a complete and utter disaster. Christian's infant reportedly tested positive for cocaine, alcohol, and painkillers at birth, according to what people say are medical records. Yes, all three, and social media complete collapse. A long list of reported ailments is also included in that same batch of screenshots: seizures, spasticity, neonatal abstinence syndrome, and you might be surprised to learn cortical visual impairment, or CVI. Furthermore, blindness is not a result of CVI. It indicates that the brain is genuinely unable to comprehend what the eyes perceive. That is neurologically advanced. It's not a joke either. Once more, none of this has been verified. However, people are shaken by the detail in these posts. Folks, it gets even heavier. Stated that a comprehensive medical team had already been assigned to the babies. Basically, an entire hospital on speed dial, including neurologists, cardiologists, and orthopedic specialists.
So there's been some medical documents that have been released that people were saying are the medical documents of Junior, Chrisean's son. I'm going to tell you where to go to watch this on YT in a minute. So I don't know if these are actually Junior's medical records, but I will say that the medical records appear to have been written by a medical professional. Just the terminology that was used and stuff. Okay? I do believe there's somebody's medical records. All right? Now, the one thing that makes me a little leery about it is it says that the mother admitted to prenatal substance abuse, and it listed some substances that she admitted to. I just find it hard to believe that Chrisean would have.
It's a rocky start for that baby, without a doubt. However, this is the bomb that set the internet on fire. The mother is quoted in one of the screenshots. Yes, Chrisean Rock came clean about using cocaine and alcohol frequently during her pregnancy. Few people are out here calling for heads to roll if there is any truth to that. They're demanding responsibility and arguing that she shouldn't even be granted parental rights. Throwing out legal repercussions as if it were courtroom bingo. To be clear, no one has verified that these data are authentic. None of this has been confirmed. However, the fact that something so private is making the rounds like a gossip flyer shows how out of control this whole situation has become. The internet hasn't just noticed that it's spiraling, baby. Here's what caused the situation to escalate. An account named King Cave was the first to post the purported screenshots. However, when I attempted to locate that page on my own, it abruptly disappeared, was erased, disabled, or perhaps stolen offline. Actually, nobody knows. The timing, however, was too shady to be a coincidence. The timing is far too shady to be arbitrary. People are cursing and deep in conjecture mode. Dropping content led to the account being reported. Too spicy fourth timeline since their posts sent the internet into a frenzy. Nothing was avoided by this anonymous user. They came in force, accusing Chrisean, her entire staff, and even Blueface of hiding the truth about baby Junior's condition. They assert that a polished fairy tale was presented to the public. Good health, baby. There is nothing to see. However, these new charges are completely appending that story. Additionally, when I state that the message was so popular that it ignited the timeline, the account blatantly said that the child's illness was the smoking gun, proving that when the proof is in front of you, you don't need an explanation. They even pulled Chrissy's supporters along with them, shouting things like, "That child has the truth. Don't ignore it any longer." It was brutal, unvarnished, and left many in complete awe.
It's saying that he got all type of stuff and how she was being neglectful. But my thing is, if the doctors test the babies after they were born and they see that something, like if she was doing substances or something, she would have had to suffer the consequences. So I'm not sure if everything is true or not, but whoever did leak that is about to face some serious charges because the HIPAA laws. Like, why would y'all leak that anyway?
To ensure there is no doubt, let me reiterate clearly. There is no official confirmation of any of this. No verification. We have no idea where those screenshots came from, who took them, or whether they are even remotely authentic. What is genuine, though? The way this whole thing is blowing up online, with Reddit stacking threads like courtroom exhibits, TikTok detectives stitching receipts, and Reddit replaying old live broadcasts looking for hidden medical clues in every baby burp, breath, and blink. Twitter has also gone crazy. Arguments are erupting, hashtags are trending, and individuals are tagging CPS as if it were their own personal emergency line. The worst part is still to come. The internet has already made a determination about whether it is true or not. Additionally, Chrisean's reputation is suffering in real time. We're looking at defamation cases on a whole new level if these charges prove to be false. However, if even one piece proves to be yes, we are discussing actual legal smoking. Seeing people flip. Like pancakes was the most crazy thing. The internet is officially split in two, with fans who are all in for Chrissy now blinking, side-eyeing, and questioning, "Hold up, what's really happening?" While the others are retaliating and refusing to accept the mess, one side is stating, "We've been new." Some are describing it as a haphazard, well-planned smear campaign, as if someone is trying to discredit Chiron one click at a time. But let's not fool ourselves, regardless of which side you support. With a PR team and everyone tuned in like they just hit play on a crazy Netflix toys, the controversy is spreading. Naturally, I had to get my hands dirty and do some research because, let's face it, if those screenshots are authentic and that baby actually had drugs in his system at birth, we're not simply leaking information anymore. We're headed straight for courtroom drama. The infant would have been taken right away, wouldn't it? Sharon would already be needed in an investigation, wouldn't she? The internet is clinging to that line of reasoning. Hold on though, it's not that simple. This is something that most people are unaware of, according to my research. Yes, hospitals are legally obligated to notify Child Protective Services or the state's Child Welfare Department when a newborn tests positive for drugs, particularly when there are several substances involved, as there are here, that is not an option. What follows, though? It becomes messy there. CPS doesn't just show up at the door and start snatching up infants while sirens are blaring. Not at all. The baby may be allowed to remain under close supervision if the parent is cooperative or has a care plan in place. In other situations, the baby remains with the parent while a discreet examination takes place in the background. In all honesty, it depends on the hospital's policy, the state, and the severity of the baby's illness. The severity of the baby's illness is truly quite bad. Yes, it would undoubtedly light up an investigation like a Christmas tree if Chrisean truly did confess to taking anything illegal throughout her pregnancy, and if doctors put that in plain and white. This is where things become hazy though, demonstrating long-term danger, purpose, or actual harm. The legal situation becomes complex and complicated at that point. Therefore, simply because there haven't been any eye-catching headlines or courthouse behind-the-scenes footage does not imply that everything is perfect. These systems move slowly and silently, but they hit severely when they do. Therefore, trust that someone is already keeping an eye on those statements if there is even a shred of truth to them. This is the section that has the internet completely perplexed. CPS does not always arrive with a car seat and flashing lights just because a report is filed. Yes, I was also shaken. People don't realize how many layers this whole affair has. Wished to acknowledge. Since far too many people are struggling online and have no idea how this stuff really works, allow me to explain it in simple terms. In the event that a newborn tests positive for any controlled substance, as is being rumored here, the hospital cannot just ignore the situation. Not at all. It is legally required of them to call that CPS hotline. It's not a choice. The rule is that, for a period. Asterisk, however, CPS doesn't just show up like the D after that call is placed. They take a step back, evaluate, and look at the big picture first. Throughout the setup. CPS is looking everywhere and not just peeking in. Can the parent really take care of the child? Is the infant being fed, clothed, and transported to appointments? Is the residence safe, livable, and clean? Oh, and it goes beyond that. They inquire as to whether the parent is receiving treatment or therapy. Will grandma take over? Is there a system of support in place? They're searching for more than anarchy. They are attempting to determine whether this is a temporary mess or a serious risk area. And they have choices if too many warning signs appear. The infant may be momentarily taken by CPS, establish a rigorous plan for the parent, include drug testing, parenting classes, supervised visits, and the entire checklist for rehab rebuilding. Furthermore, this is not a hit-and-run scenario. That file remains once it opens. In order to determine whether progress is being made or whether the situation is still a hot mess, they occasionally assign a caseworker to show up unexpectedly. Here's the real deal, though. CPS may allow the baby to stay with strict conditions if the parent is present, clean, and following the plan. Therefore, don't misunderstand. The mere fact that the youngster is still in the crib does not imply that. Their name is not currently listed in a state database. And for that very reason, people are giving this entire circus a lot of side-eye. This is where the drama really gets out of hand. Because a newborn may not necessarily be removed from the household if they exhibit symptoms of drug exposure. Drug tests, court mandates, and rehabilitation programs come into their own at this point. Additionally, the baby can remain with the accused mom if she is genuinely assisting child services, following the court's plan and making a legitimate attempt. Yes, if she's meeting the requirements, CPS may allow her to retain custody with restrictions despite all those grave charges circulating online. They will be closely observing, of course. Pop-ups, check-ins, and random drop-ins are all possible. They won't always rush to split up the family, though. If she is demonstrating that she is serious, let me now shout this out louder than a tirade. On TikTok, everything we're talking about is still entirely speculative. The origin of these purported medical receipts is unknown. Nothing has been verified by any reliable source. Even though the screenshots appear official, they are all just internet-fueled fiction until something formal is released. Plot twist, though. The chronology now questions whether Chrisean is even taking on the role of mother, particularly if those purported conditions are true. People are giving her the side eye and accusing her of not doing enough for Junior. She's receiving a lot of criticism for allegedly slacking, skipping treatments, and failing to act like a responsible mother in that circumstance. And this is being devoured by the internet like the season finale of a courtroom reality show. But first, let's clarify something. We have no idea what's truly happening inside those walls. We're not in the living room of Chrisean. Those doctor's appointments don't fit us in. On a daily basis, we don't see the genuine. She might be working hard behind the scenes for all we know. She isn't being lazy just because she doesn't post on Instagram every 5 minutes or live broadcast every appointment. Furthermore, let's avoid confusion. Her baby's medical chart is not something she owes the internet. The health of that child is a private matter, for a period. She's free to talk if she so desires. But insisting on updates as if we were VIP subscribers to her journey as a mother, no, it's one thing to be worried. But you guys lost the plot when you turned her personal problem into a public spectacle. The actual question is now being debated. Should she be ensuring that the infant is receiving all the support and care possible? No debate, of course. Does she, however, owe us a receipt folder, breakdowns, or proof? She doesn't, let's face it. The public doesn't need a single post on her if she is following the law and being present for her child. But let's face it, regardless of where you stand in this chaotic online battleground, everyone is secretly praying she's taking charge because that baby deserves it all. Complete support, first-rate care, and nothing less. Resources, genuine concern, and genuine attention. That infant is deserving of everything. Without a doubt. However, we should stop assuming that just because something isn't on TikTok, it didn't happen. Not every motherhood act requires a ring light and a filter. Tyron isn't necessarily failing as a parent just because she doesn't post from every hospital waiting room. Let me keep it 100 though. I was astounded when I looked through those alleged documents on Twitter and TikTok, if even one line of that stuff is real. It's heartbreaking in addition to being weighty. It's heartbreaking. Remember though that none of the information in those files has been verified, not a single source. Even the source of the screenshots is unknown to us. This could very well be a totally fabricated plot twist to keep the drama train going. However, if there's even a shred of truth in it, it's just online rumors. There is a serious crisis. In all caps, this entire affair is a wake-up call. And perhaps all of this online chatter will finally force something tangible to occur, if anything. Dubious is being ignored. Not for clicks, not for mayhem, but for the future and well-being of that child. Because that's the only thing that really counts when everything is said and done. I'm throwing it to you now. What are your thoughts? Have you noticed the screenshots that are circulating? Do they seem genuine, or is someone fabricating a story to get views? Post your thoughts in the comments section. No holding back, no filter. I'd like to hear it all. Your thoughts, your hypotheses, your unvarnished opinions. Do your share while you're down there spilling tea. I promise you that clicking the like button keeps this madness going. Remember to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the crazy celebrity breakdowns. We always include the receipts and keep it bold and unvarnished. Here at Juicy. Plug, there are no breaks and everything is gas. We have all the flavors you could possibly want, whether you came for the drama, the truth, or the controversy. Warmth.